This is the iPhone 16 Pro, and this is the Sony a6700. Should you invest in a smartphone like this, or spend the extra money on a dedicated content camera like this? To answer that, we will have to look at their differences from a real-world usability standpoint. I uploaded some raw files for you to download, and I left links to those files in the description in case you'd like to play around with some of my footage and to see if your rigs can handle the footage from either camera. I'm going to treat this comparison as more of an actual use case type of video, and I'm going to focus on the image quality. Can you tell the difference between these two shots? And before I tell you which shot is which, let me tell you a little bit more about both of these cameras. The iPhone 16 Pro has a 48 megapixel sensor that can shoot in 4K up to 120, and it can shoot in Apple log. It weighs 7.99 ounces and it comes with fixed lenses with multiple focal lengths and has gimbal-like stabilization, and it starts at $999 US. The a6700 has a 26 megapixel sensor that can shoot in 4K up to 120 frames per second. It can shoot in S-Log 3 and it weighs 17 ounces with the battery and media installed. It comes with the ability to interchange lenses, something that you can't do with the 16 Pro, and the stabilization is mediocre. It starts at $1,398 US. The iPhone 16 Pro was released in September of 2024 and the 6700 was released in July of 2023. Today, we will be comparing their similarities and differences, their image quality, including shooting with both cameras' standard color profiles, along with their log profiles. We will do some low light shooting, test out the stabilization. I'll tell you about my own personal experience. We're gonna do a little vlogging with them, listen to the native audio out of both of these cameras, and then we'll go over who I think each camera might be for. And I'll be sharing side-by-side videos with you all along the way. The goal of this video is to give you clarity on not only what camera is right for you, but also to show you the contrast between an iPhone 16 Pro and a dedicated content creating camera like the a6700. All right, we have a lot to cover in a short amount of time, and I'd love for you to tell me which one of these two cameras you like better. That's what we will be tackling today on the Film Alliance. If you looked at both of those shots at the beginning of the video and you could correctly name which camera was which, then you know your color science, my friend. I wasn't 100% sure. The only way that I knew is by looking at the file names on the images once I uploaded them to the comparison window. And that says a lot about the iPhone 16 Pro. Both Apple and Sony are not sponsoring this video. I bought both of these cameras with my own money, and neither of those camera companies sent me these cameras. If by the end of this video you're still undecided about which camera you should purchase, I made a which camera should I buy course to walk you through the steps of choosing the right camera. If you want a quick and easy version, I made 2 free quizzes on which camera or lens you should choose. The quiz will ask you specific questions and based on your answers, funnel you to the camera that best suits your needs. I'll leave a link to that course and those quizzes in the description. I shot in program auto for most of these shots with both cameras and just let the cameras do their thing straight out of camera. But for a couple shots, I downloaded the Final Cut camera app on the iPhone 16 Pro and the Blackmagic camera app so I could monitor my Luts while I was filming out in the field. This way I could manually expose both cameras to see where their weaknesses lie. The lenses that I used for the Sony a6700 for these side-by-side comparisons are as follows. I used the Viltrox 13mm f1.4 for those wide shots. I did some vlogging with it, holding it at arm's length. I also used it as a documentary filmmaker would, getting candid B-roll. Then I used the Viltrox 23mm f1.4 for some product shots in everyday exteriors, along with some photography and studio shots to get my color comparisons as close as possible. I used the Sony kit lens, the 16-50 f3.5 to 5.6 as an all-around lens when I was out in an uncontrolled lighting environment, and mainly shot in program auto and as a beginner would. And I also used the TT Artisan's 25mm f2 for those of you who are on a budget but still need a fantastic sharp lens. It's manual lens, but it's sharp and it's cheap, and I highly recommend it for those of you who are pinching pennies. I shot in all different lighting environments so we could really see the differences between these two cameras. Now let's talk about the price, because that's generally the first hurdle people need to leap over before they can even make a decision on which one of these two they want to purchase. Let's break down the cost of both of these cameras. The iPhone 16 Pro starts at $999 US for the 128GB model. On the other hand, the Sony a6700 body alone starts at $1398. If you were to add a 128GB SD card for say $22 and a budget-friendly 16 to 50 kit lens for $298, few extra batteries, and now you're inching closer and closer to that $2,000 mark. So even with the most basic setup on the Sony a6700, it's nearly twice the price of the iPhone. Of course, you'll want to get a case and a screen protector for your iPhone, and if you're looking to shoot in that ProRes footage, you'll probably need to pick up an external SSD for more storage. Or you could pick up the higher storage models, which is 256GB for $1099 US, or 512GB where it jumps up to $1299 US. That closes the gap when it comes to pricing, but the Sony is still significantly more expensive. If you do end up going with the Sony a6700, skip over getting the kit lens and invest in something a little bit better that suits your needs. If you like the versatility of the kit lens's focal range, which is 16 to 50, go ahead and get the Sigma 18 to 50 f2.8. The image quality is a huge step up from what the kit lens offers, although you don't get stabilization with that lens. Both cameras do have a range of accessories that are available. Freewell makes a great lens kit system for the iPhone, which I used on the iPhone 15 Pro, and Sony has a massive selection of E-mount lenses. Not only Sony, but a bunch of third-party companies as well. And that also includes full frame options, because you can add full frame E-mount lenses to your a6700. But at the end of the day, the iPhone will be a more affordable option. By the way, if you don't already follow me and you like videos like this one where we kind of explore different cameras and their differences, then make sure to join the Film Alliance by subscribing. There's a stark contrast in size and form factor between the Sony a6700 and the iPhone 16 Pro. The 16 Pro is sleek and it's a pocket-sized smartphone. It's designed for everyday carry, fitting comfortably in your hand or your pockets. Its all-in-one design means that you have everything you need to capture photos and videos right there. Although you do drop this thing quite a bit, that's why I recommend picking up a phone case for it. I've said it before, but so far I've never had a security guard tell me when I'm out filming with this that I'm not allowed to film. Whereas I've been told several times with the a6700 that I can't film and I'll have to put my camera away. So with that being said, when the image quality is as close as it is when we're in program auto and the daylight is shining as harsh as it is, the iPhone might be the one to go with. The Sony a6700 is a dedicated mirrorless camera. It's larger, it's bulkier, especially when you attach bigger lenses to it. And while it's still relatively compact when you compare it to something like the Sony a7S III, it requires a bag or a dedicated space to carry it around. You're not gonna wanna carry this thing everywhere that you go. You'll have to get a bag or a camera strap and throw it around your neck. The advantages is that you can interchange the lenses, allowing you to adapt to various shooting situations. But in essence, the iPhone 16 Pro prioritizes portability and convenience. While the a6700 prioritizes versatility and image quality, it might mean that you're gonna have to sacrifice some of that compactness that you get with the iPhone. Also, the a6700 has a lot more customization on the outside of the camera. If you take a look at the body, you see so many different ways that you can customize not only the camera, but also while you're out filming or taking photography with it. This means once you get used to it, you can play it like an instrument, whereas with the iPhone, you're kind of just stuck pressing the shutter button and maybe adjusting the exposure compensation. If you're just starting out, the iPhone is a breeze just to go out and start using right away. No experience needed. The only exception is when you dive into Apple Log. The 6700 has a steeper learning curve, but it offers way more control and a flip screen. That's great for vloggers or anyone who loves to get those cinematic type shots and be able to see their frame from this side of the camera rather than the back side of the camera. Getting tricky angles on the iPhone 16 Pro is tough, especially when I was getting the overhead shots. I had to stand up on a chair to see what the display was seeing in order to make sure my exposure was correct and my framing was correct. The a6700 on the other hand is super customizable, both with physical buttons and dials and the internal menu system itself. The iPhone's camera app is pretty limited in comparison to what you can do with the 6700, but you will need some basic knowledge of exposure in order to get the most out of your 6700. When I threw both cameras into auto mode, the image quality seemed to be about the same. The real value came from being able to customize and expose manually with the 6700. The 6700 also has helpful exposure tools like zebras, but the Blackmagic camera app gives the iPhone similar features including LUT support. Speaking about LUTs, the a6700 does support them, which means that you can upload your LUTs and actually monitor what the footage is looking like as if the LUTs were already applied. Same thing with the 16 Pro, as long as you download the Blackmagic camera app. You can actually monitor your LUTs in camera to see what the shot looks like. Shoot an Apple log and then go home and hope that you exposed your camera correctly. With that being said, I did make some LUTs for the iPhone that give it a nice film look, and I referenced the Fujifilm X-T5 film simulations. I'll leave those LUTs in the description. The 48 megapixel sensor gives you 3 focal lengths. One is 24 millimeters, one is 28 millimeters, and one is 35 millimeters. With the ultra wide and telephoto cameras, you will notice a drop off in quality once you use them. With the 6700, you can attach any type of APS-C lens to it without losing any type of quality, because there's no cropping involved other than just the 1.5 crop that you get from the APS-C sensor. But when I zoom in with the iPhone, the quality really starts to fall off. Another big plus for the 6700 is that you can swap out the batteries and the SD cards. With the iPhone, you're stuck with the internal battery and storage. You could use a MagSafe charger, but charging while filming increases the risk of overheating. I shot a little film sequence with the iPhone, and while I was shooting with that video, I brought the 6700 along with me and used these different lenses to get similar looking shots so that you could really tell the difference on which one of these two cameras you like better. The 16 Pro has cinematic mode, and it does have some drawbacks. While I was out filming with it, when I watched the playback on my phone display, it brought back memories of the experience when I used the 15 Pro, and it looked great on the phone, but once I brought it home to my big screen, that's where I could really start to see a big digital blur. It's a fake digital blur, whereas with the 6700, you get a natural bokeh. That's a pretty big difference if you're looking for that background blur to either look digital or realistic. I don't know if someone who isn't into this stuff would actually be able to tell the difference. I mean, if you're exporting only to your friends or people who are going to watch it on a smartphone, it's not going to make a big difference. But if you're actually using it for client work, I'd say go with the 6700 if you want that real background blur. You also cannot use the Apple log in cinematic mode, and you lose the ability to shoot in 4K 60. So I set up my iPhone 16 Pro to record cinematic in 4K 24 as a default. The 16 Pro can shoot in 4K 120 and the 6700 can shoot in 4K 120, but because the 4K 120 out of the 6700 delivers such a heavy crop, it makes it virtually unusable in low light situations, mainly due to the fact that the APS-C sensor already has that 1.5 times crop. The iPhone can shoot in 422 10-bit Apple log up to 30 frames per second internally, unless you're using the Blackmagic camera app, which then it can record in 4K 120 internally and 4K 120 externally, and the a6700 can shoot in 422 10-bit 4K 60 externally. If you're not recording externally, then you can shoot in Apple log 4K up to 30 frames per second. When we compare the Apple log footage out of the 16 Pro to the S log footage out of the 6700, I have more room to grade the colors with the 6700 because there's more detail due to the sensor size on this camera. With that said, the Apple log footage out of the 16 Pro is really nice to have, and in a pinch, I could match up the Apple log footage to the S log footage out of the 6700. This makes the 16 Pro a potential great B cam to your 6700 and a contestant to someone who is looking for a B cam who already has a dedicated content creation camera. Both cameras have built-in stabilization, but honestly, the iPhone just blows the Sony out of the water. With that said, they both have their downsides. The 16 Pro has action mode, which is a mind-blowing stabilization. It looks gimbal-like, but the image quality does take quite a bit of a hit. It drops down to 2.8K. And forget about using it in low-light situations. It gets super grainy and it's practically unusable. The iPhone does give you a little warning if it thinks you need more light, but still, if you're out in the daylight, the action mode on the iPhone will beat out the 6700's active stabilization. The 6700 also crops your video when you turn on stabilization, which is annoying, especially if you're hoping to get really great image quality. I would recommend picking up a gimbal for your 6700 and just turning stabilization off. Cropping always means you're gonna lose some of that precious resolution, that sensor area, which makes low light shooting even tougher. The 6700 footage when you're hand holding and walking with the camera and you have active stabilization on is definitely not gimbal smooth, unless you shoot with a higher shutter speed and then you throw it through Sony's software called Catalyst Browse. Personally, I'm not a fan of having to do that extra work in post-production. I like to get my shots right in camera so that I can quickly upload them to my editors and then edit my videos. If you're hand-holding and shooting with the 6700 and you have stabilization on, that's when you're really going to see the benefits from its IBIS. So both stabilization systems have their pros and their cons. It just depends on what you're looking for. I wouldn't say that the 6700 completely destroys the iPhone in low light if you're using the kit lens. Unless you pair it with a prime lens, that's when you're really going to beat out the iPhone. When I was shooting the film look video with the iPhone 16 Pro, I had to ditch a ton of low light shots because the sensor just couldn't handle it. When I'm in super low light shots or night shots, the iPhone really starts to fall off. I could manually expose both cameras, so I did that and set them both to 4K 24, but even using the Blackmagic camera app with the iPhone, the 6700 paired with the right lens still blew the iPhone out of the water, mainly because of its bigger sensor. The iPhone's fixed aperture doesn't help either. Apple Log made the footage look better, but the 6700 still came out on top. If you wanted to vlog with either of these cameras, you would have a hard time with the 16 Pro, mainly for that reason I talked about earlier, how you cannot see the display. Whereas the 6700 has a little flip screen, you can see your face while you're vlogging, and you don't have to guess what you're looking like. You could use the front-facing camera, but your image quality is gonna fall off quite a bit.
Now we are vlogging with the iPhone 16 Pro. We are not only looking at the frame, but we're also listening to that audio. How good is that audio compared to the native mic out of the a6700? And then also how stabilized is the footage? I like to look at that kind of stuff when I'm doing these vlog tests. That way you can see. I have the camera at arm's length. I'm using the rear-facing camera, so I'm hoping that I am in frame. I can't see. I will be able to see with the 6700 because I have a flip-out display. So there's your test with the iPhone 16 Pro if you were to do vlogging. And now we're vlogging with the a6700. We're not only testing out the audio, but we want to see that frame as well. How stabilized is that footage? And I'm using the kit lens right now, so it kind of punched in on my face compared to the iPhone 16 Pro. So there's your two different tests with the 16 Pro and the a6700, in case you're interested in vlogging with either one of these cameras and the kit lens on the 6700.
But when it comes to vlogging, the a6700 has a feature called auto reframing, where it crops in and acts as a second person who's sort of following you, and it makes it look like you have a cameraman with you. The a6700 is primarily targeted towards hybrid content creators who value both video and photo capabilities. It's a great choice for videographers who want a compact, lightweight camera capable of high quality 4K video. It also has advanced features like S-Cinetone, awesome autofocus, and it has an EVF. This is important because when you're in bright daylight environments, you'll be able to better monitor your footage, get your framing right, and your exposure right. Whereas with the iPhone, you're gonna have to look at the entire display, and if it's bright out, you're not gonna be able to expose properly. The a6700 would also be for YouTubers and vloggers who need a versatile camera for run and gun type of shooting with good image stabilization, not the best in the world, but it's okay. A flip out screen. The a6700 does have ports for mic input and also headphone jack. Whereas you do have the USB-C on the bottom of the iPhone 16 Pro, which will also give you mic input and headphone jack. But it only has one port, whereas the 6700 not only has the mic and the headphone jack, but it also has an HDMI port and a USB-C for live streaming, charging, and offloading your data. This camera is great for photographers who require a capable camera for various genres, offering high-resolution photos, fast continuous shooting, and a wide selection of compatible lenses, especially if you're a travel content creator, someone who prioritizes that versatility without compromising your image quality. The iPhone 16 Pro caters more towards casual content creators and those who prioritize convenience and accessibility. I mean, it's always with you, it's in your pocket, you can pull it out at any time and have some great looking image quality, especially if you're a vertical shooter. And also mobile filmmakers, there's such a thing. People who like to have that pocketable solution for capturing high quality videos on the go, especially being able to use Apple Log. Also for casual vloggers who need a simple and straightforward setup for recording themselves with a good front-facing camera quality, not the best in the world, but it's okay, and awesome built-in microphones. Or for someone like me, who just likes to have an extra B cam with me at all times to either get BTS or just fun family memories, and I don't have to worry about the image quality being too bad because the camera is really good. So here are some of the key differences to consider. The image quality. The 6700 generally offers superior image quality and greater control over your settings, particularly in challenging lighting conditions, especially because it has an EVF. Versatility. The a6700 provides more versatility with the ability to interchange lenses, allowing content creators to adapt to different shooting scenarios. It has the portability aspect, but when it comes to portability, the iPhone 16 Pro is significantly more compact and lightweight, and it makes it way easier to carry around and shoot discreetly. Also, ease of use. The 16 Pro offers a much more user-friendly experience, especially for those who are new to photography and videography. When it comes to price, the 16 Pro is a more affordable option, especially when you're factoring in the cost of additional lenses and accessories, batteries, memory, anything that you can think of, cages, just a bunch more stuff that you might have to pick up with the 6700. Ultimately, the best choice depends on the specific needs of you. If you prioritize image quality and versatility, then go with the Sony a6700. You could also use this camera in professional settings. I mean, you could use the iPhone in professional settings as well, but it might not look that good, especially if you're doing paid gigs. If you value portability, ease of use, and integration with other Apple ecosystems, like if you already have an Apple computer, then the iPhone 16 Pro is a compelling option. So which camera should you choose and why? Remember that the best camera is the one that you have with you. If you're always on the go and you want to capture moments as they happen, pick up the 16 Pro. But if you're serious about content creation and you want the best possible image quality and flexibility, pick up the 6700 with the appropriate lens. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the free camera quiz in the description if you're still unsure about which camera is right for you. And if you like this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the Film Alliance for more content creation tips and tricks. Until next time, keep creating. One of the most asked questions that I receive is, which camera should I buy? I know that you want to make the right decision, and it's a big decision. You want to find the camera that best suits your needs and stays within your budget. Many of you know which camera might be for you, but you need some guidance pinpointing it and feeling confident in your decision. That's why I made this course. I want to put my camera experience and knowledge into a compact and easy to follow format. I jam-packed it with camera buying fundamentals that I guarantee you will carry through the rest of your camera journey. I based this entire course on all the things that I wish I had known or someone had told me when I first started out. From understanding different camera types and their features to matching them with your specific video and photography needs, this course covers it all. After finishing, I'm confident that you'll finally have clarity over every angle and aspect that you might consider when buying a camera. I'll guide you through my entire camera buying process, taking you 90% of the way there. That way you'll be well prepared to make your decision. This is essentially all the guidance that I would give my own brother if he asked me, "Hey Joe, which camera should I buy?" Now I'm going to share that insight with you.